In case you're wondering, where is that even video, like that studio vlog that you were doing preparing for a convention? Well, burnout happened, and that's what this video is about. Hello everyone, this is ASL, you can call me Alba, that's what the A stands for, and welcome to my art YouTube channel. I want to give you some context before. So this year it started really tough. I spent most of January, like weekends included, drawing from 9 to 9 or 9 to 11 every day, or even 6 a.m. to 11 to finish 24 pages, full color pages for a contest that I didn't win. But I wanted to participate so I could get back to a routine of drawing, which I abandoned a long time ago. Then February came and we had just 1 month to prepare everything that we wanted to bring to the convention that you saw a little bit on the video before. We were relaxed at the beginning, but as the days passed, we felt the stress of finishing things. And I kept giving myself work to do and new things that I wanted to accomplish for this convention. And it was really stressful to the point that when we arrived to Barcelona to my mother-in-law's house, we had 3 days before this convention, and we spent those days sleeping 4 hours only to get things done. And of course we didn't finish it. It was unrealistic from, our expectations were unrealistic. And the convention was good. We actually had some trouble in there because we spent most of the weekend at a very high level of noise, which was even unhealthy. Most people was having headaches and vomiting and things like that. And we came back and I was completely exhausted. Those 3 months left me I couldn't do anything. My mind refused to work. My body was physically exhausted just from everything. And people that fall under the neurodivergent umbrella, like ADHDers and autistic people and everything, know very well how this feels, this overwhelming and crippling anxiety and tiredness that doesn't allow you to do anything. And that's what I want to talk today about. As an artist or creative person, this can happen a lot. And I've come up with a few things that help me. Disclaimer, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert on this. I'm gonna give you the tips that I use personally that help me. You can try them all, you can try them, you can leave in the comments what works for you. Maybe we can make a good video, comment section of this video with different tips and tricks that we can share with each other to help us with burnout. Because yes, sometimes you might call it art block, but that's burnout. That's your brain can work, and that's something that happens to us ADHDers and autistic people and a lot of people that have trouble with executive functioning. And yeah, so I'm gonna play a video of me drawing at the back, a sketch. An illustration, and I'm gonna give you my tips and tricks. And let's get started. I divided these tips into 3 sections. And the first one, the name is in Spanish, but I'm going to translate it to you, which is prevenir es mejor que curar, which means preventing it is better than fixing it, roughly. Which means burnout is really hard to cope with. It's not something that has an instant fix. It's something that when you fall into that pit, it's really hard. It takes a lot of work and rest and everything to get out of it. You know it, right? So the best thing would be try to avoid it as much as you can. Knowing that it can happen can help you preventing it. So in this section, the first tip I have is get to know yourself, get to know your limits, and set your boundaries. And not only with other people. For example, I'm a people pleaser. I think most ADHDers are. And that plus perfectionism is a both. So you need to know and teach yourself your own boundaries, your own limits, and set boundaries with people. If you're busy, if you have things to do, and you cannot deal with other person's needs, you have to tell them, and you should not feel guilty about it, because that's your own mental health and physical health, because that's how much burnout can affect you. It's not worth to sacrifice yourself for others or for a project that it's gonna destroy your mental health and physical well-being. The second would be talking to people around you and see if someone can help you actually. Maybe a friend can, I don't know, drop things in the mail for you. Just trying to get some weight off your shoulders, because it's very important that once you're in, and if you cannot avoid doing the work, maybe you can ask for some extra time or explain your situation and try to make people understand why you need the time, the help. I know some works that don't allow that, but if you're a creative person like an artist, I want to focus this especially for artists, just ask someone to help you with things. The next one is rest. Recently, I've learned that especially people with ADHD or autistic people really need breaks, especially when working, like sitting down and focusing their attention for too long. What I found that was really helpful is the Pomodoro method. In case you don't know it, it's a time, like you set a timer for like 25 minutes and then you rest for 5 minutes. Then you work for 25 minutes and rest for 5 minutes. And after you repeat the cycle a few times, you can choose when. Then you get a longer break of 10-15 minutes where you can go for a walk, maybe just stand up, drink some water, drink some juice, like do something. But rest between, work, and while you're at work, you have to take some breaks. It's not going to harm you. It's actually going to help you with productivity. Artists tend to sit down and start sketching or drawing for hours straight. And that's really, like, you might not feel the effects from that at the moment, but that adds up with all the things that you might be working on. And it's definitely going to hurt you. So take those breaks while you're working, and remember to try not to exceed the working hours that you should have. I know it sounds like an ideal world, and not all of us work in these kind of environments, but as long as you're able to do this, try to take those breaks. And I mean that as well with social media. I mean that on the weekends, leave everything that has to do with work and your projects behind and rest, really rest, because otherwise your brain is not going to stop and you're going to get burnout anyway. And the last one in this category is one that I have started applying recently, which is anti-capitalism mantras. For example, how much you can produce is not your worth as an artist or as a person. How much you can accomplish doesn't define who you are. Money isn't everything. Although people around us try to convince us that it's richer, the one that has most. It's better to be happy with fewer things, enjoy what you're doing, and try to get joy from everything you do. For artists, I think that because at the beginning it was something that we felt passionate about, right? And then we have to work with this that we're passionate about. And the expectations of society are so high that most of us, I think that we fall into this disenchantment. Is it how you say? We just feel like this isn't our passion, and we lose our track most of the times. And that's because really it's capitalism. It's the need to sell what we're doing, sell ourselves and our art. And it's not joyful anymore. It's something that we have to do to survive. Of course, you have to get money from your art. Obviously, you're an artist. That's what we're all trying to do, getting some living out of it. But try to focus on the joyful things about creating art. I'm not saying that you should not market your art. I'm saying that you should also create for your own joy. And you should not forget, that's what works for me, that your worth is not the money you earn, the followers you have, or anything like that. It's the worth you give to what you create. All right, the second chapter of this long video is going to be once you are in the pit of burnout, which is you're already feeling exhausted, your brain cannot function anymore, you feel like you need 6 or 7 days, months of resting so you can cope with life. Here's the first thing I want to say. You might want to stay in bed all day, every day, but that I found that for me can lead to a depressive episode. It's like doing nothing, just sleeping in your cocoon. It helps healing, but not for a long time. If you have a crisis or at the beginning of a burnout, it's good to spend some time nesting. But you have to nest in order to get out of that nest. That makes sense. You have to accommodate yourself so you can get out of that. Not accommodate so you just start sinking into that comfy nesting place that you've built. That's not the right thing, I believe. That only builds up to the next burnout you will have, because then you will feel guilty for doing that. At least I do. But then you feel guilty for doing that, for not spending time, for not trying to cope with it in a different way. So I would say limit the time that you spend nesting, and as long as you feel comfortable enough to stand up and do things, just go and do so, because that's going to help you doing the next step. Linked to the previous one, I would say get your sleep properly and get into good habits, which means go to bed as early as you want or as late as you want, but get your 8 hours of sleep. If you cannot sleep, maybe get some natural aid, like for example, eating some carbs at night will make you feel sleepy. Maybe drinking some herbal teas that contain some plants that helps you with that will do. Maybe having some melatonin at the end of the day will help you as well as just removing all screens from like an hour before you go to bed, and then set the alarm so you wake up and you don't oversleep as well. And then eat properly, drink a lot of water, get into the shower as soon as you can with this burnout, and then try to get into these healthy habits. Like try to take care of your own body, because when your body feels better, it's going to help your mind feel better as well. And talking about mind feeling better, something that has like tremendously helped me is meditation and mindfulness. I'm not taking any meds, because when I met my therapist, he said to me that could actually lead into some problems in the future. And my therapist said to me, we're going to start this mindfulness therapy journey. And that has helped me tremendously. If you don't know what mindfulness is, it's basically living in the moment that you're at, learning that your thoughts don't define you, and breathing and trying to understand why your mind wanders this way, why you feel this way, and how you can help it. So meditation in so many ways, so many different meditations has helped me cope with these things. And it has helped me with the next step, which is get some quality rest, which means resting for sure, like really learning how to take breaks, how to turn off that inner voice that keeps saying to you, you have to be productive, you have to do this and that's not how you do it. Like, why are you burnt out? Why are you doing this? You should be doing this and that, and all these things. It's taken me like 8 months of this therapy to understand my mind and to learn how to, shut those voices in my head. And since then, I finally had the first weekends that I've actually said to my partner, hey, I'm resting without guilt. Feeling guilty when resting is something that I've done for my entire life. Mindfulness has been like, I don't know, it sounds like, it might sound weird. Like some people think mindfulness is not something real, but it really is, especially for us with the mind going like full speed. And there are some words that my therapist has said to me, which is, us with ADHD have minds that have a Ferrari like engine, but our brakes are bicycle engines. So we cannot stop our minds unless we do something about it. And that is training your mind with mindfulness and therapy and meditation, which has been amazing. I really love with this thing, and my life has changed like completely. And it helps with burnouts. Like now that I'm, as I said, 8 months into this therapy, this burnout has been very easy to cope with. And I understood that I needed to rest. I didn't push myself to do things that I couldn't do. And it's just like loving you a little bit more. It's very nice. So yeah, I recommend mindfulness. Like, it doesn't matter who you are. If you're neurotypical, neurodivergent, just go for it. Try it. It's really, really, really good. That's something that I really recommend to everyone. Like the other steps, I don't mind. Like, you might not like it, or it might not work for you, but mindfulness is really built for everyone. So I think you should give it a try. And it gives you once your mind is rested, like is resting, you get more creative, you get more ideas, more productivity. It just comes naturally instead of you forcing it. And then once you feel strong enough, I would say that the next step while you're in the burnout is start doing small tasks. For me, it has been destroying a sofa that we had, because we had a very old sofa and we wanted to do a outdoor sofa. So one day I just started with my knife, with the knife, just cutting the fabrics and then getting all the sponges and the pillow out so we can build another sofa outside with the parts of it. It doesn't have to be something related to work. It has to be some small things that you feel like you can do and accomplish, and those things that you can actually do quickly, or not quickly, just that you have the energy to do so. Just do them, because then you will get the reward, like the dopamine saying, okay, you finished it. So that's actually a great thing. And related to art, I would say I started sketching more, and those sketches were just quick sketches that didn't have to be a finished piece. They were just we were talking about our original characters and then did quick scenes of them. It's oh, look at, you just finished it just for your own pleasure. The same with the house, the same with maybe, okay, today I will answer 2 emails, tomorrow I will answer a few more, and just gradually just try to get out of that mental and physical state by doing some little work here and there. That will help you tremendously, I would say. Well, it helps me, sorry, I keep saying you, but I recommend you to try at least once and see if that works for you. And then the last and final phase of this burnout will be the aftermath. When you are finally just going out, that cave, and then the sun starts hitting your eyes, and it's my mind is still a bit sleepy. It's not really working properly, but it's time to start again. So that's where the last phase is, where I am now. So that's how that's why I'm making this video as well, because I feel like I'm finally getting out of these hole, this pit that I was in, and I wanted to share it with you. And then I have a few more tips that are helping me. And those are, for example, increase the task that you do gradually and comfortably, which means, for example, one day you cannot work more than 4 hours, if you can do so, of course. But for example, one day you're less productive than the other, it's okay. Just try to increase the task that you can manage gradually, little by little. Don't try to get your whole schedule up at once, because that's not going to work. That's going to just make you stumble and then fall again into the same burnout that you were before. Then I would say go back to your perfectly imperfect routine. So try to build up that routine that helps you, that works for you, that might not work for anyone else, but get back to it slowly. For example, this week we started working in different times, and we also want to exercise and we want to do things. So one week we're going to adapt to this new schedule. The next week we're going to incorporate something else. The following week we want to incorporate something else. But slowly, changes cannot happen at once, and you have to prepare your mind, prepare your body, and then try to make it as comfortable as you can. If it takes you longer to reach wherever you want to get, it's all right. We are all in our own ways, in our own paths. We cannot compare one to each other. So it's really good to take things at your own pace. And the last would be make a schedule that suits you, which is, for example, if you don't work properly in the evenings, just work in the in the mornings. If you're not a morning person, maybe in the afternoon. But you have to find that balance, and that comes back to the first tips I gave you, which is the boundaries, knowing your limits and everything. At the end of the day, it's basically about knowing yourself, getting to know yourself, spend some time with your mind. Meditation, as I said before, and mindfulness help tremendously at this task. And definitely, I'm with you. Burnout sucks. It's really hard to cope with it, and once you're in, you might need help. And some tips I haven't written down. Get professional help as well. If you find yourself trapped in this cycle once and again and again and again, maybe you can find a therapist that work with people with ADHD. I have my therapist, and can give you some tips, or maybe reach out for some communities online that could give you these tips the same as I'm giving you, although you might not use it. Like, it's just like my own way to get out of things. Maybe you have to tell yourself that you have to do it in a different way as I'm doing, and then it will start to work. I want to hear from you guys as well, so if you can leave your tips in the comments, like things that I might have forgotten, or things that sound weird that I've said because I've recorded this video just all in once, please let me know in the comments. And as I said, disclaimer, I'm not a psychiatrist, I'm not a therapist, I'm not an expert on this. I'm just telling you guys my own experience. And I know that most people cannot take, a step back to watch their mental health, but I believe that it's in us, in our hands, to change society as well, and try to advocate for better workplaces for all of us as well. Anyway, this is what this video is about. I hope you find it helpful. I really hope I can see a lot of comments below talking about experiences that you may have with burnout. I want to hear about your tips. I want to hear what you do, how you cope with this, and then maybe we can all make a safe place here in YouTube where artists, creatives, and just neurodivergent people in general can have a safe, happy place where they can share their experiences and learn and get better and maybe build a better society for us. So yeah, I hope you liked it. If you want more content about like this, please subscribe and tell me what you would like me to talk about for like next. And well, yeah, I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.